Is just minutes away with ABC News updates at the top and bottom of every hour on 890 AM WLS. Jake Hartford is on 890 AM WLS.
Yes, I am. 5:53 right here on WLS. Every Saturday, 5 until 7. The caller asked about what's going on in the elections. And see, this ties in the whole arrogance thing. It started a year ago with the Tea Party. It started with Santelli, Rick Santelli on the floor of the Chicago trading floor there, making that comment about the people are getting angry. And I think what the people were getting angry about was the politicians weren't listening. They weren't. They had a tin ear. Remember, they had the last August, a year ago August, they had the town hall meetings, and the politicians didn't like what they were getting from their constituents, and then the people that were upset were getting demonized. They were the evil Republicans, but they forgot that there were Democrats in the crowd and liberals, and not liberals. There could have been, but there were independents there, and then you had the elections. You had that one in Virginia where they changed the governor, and then that guy in New Jersey. You remember that one? Who was that rich guy that he wanted to be senator? And then he decided he didn't want to be senator anymore. And then, so he left the Senate and became the governor. And then Frank Lautenberg, who had retired from the Senate from New Jersey, had to come back and take his Senate seat. But remember, he ran for governor. What was his name? The real rich guy. He was in that accident, traffic accident. And Obama came in and, campaigned for him. And then after he lost, they were saying, well, of course he lost because he wasn't a good candidate. It was this, that, whatever. It was always a reason why that the people were electing the new people and getting rid of the old. And then when Brown won in Massachusetts, that's a Democratic state, and he won as a Republican, it was like, well, they blamed that on Bush. Remember? So now you got all these elections coming, and then the Tea Party's been fielding candidates, and they've been knocking off incumbents. Republican incumbents have been knocked off. You got Democrats who are saying, hey, that they're not running for re-election. And healthcare was going to be the big issue. Remember when people, and I think that's the thing that really turned the people off, because they didn't want it, not in the form it was in. But so now you got these elections, and then I wasn't paying attention the other day. This woman in Delaware, Christine O'Donnell, beat Castle, who was the Republican rep. And I know there's talk about her background. She supposedly was foreclosed on, and she had this trouble and that trouble, and, okay, fine. And if you think about it, that's a real person. She's not a professional politician. She's a real person who understands everything. And so I'm listening to this the other day, and then my wife started reading the story to me out of the Sun-Times about Obama. He's got this new book coming out, and he talks about how his mom was this gave him discipline and drive and all that. And it mentions when he was in college, he was doing coke and stuff. My wife didn't know that. I said, yeah, keep that knowledge away from the kids in case they want to become president. They want to do that. So she hasn't done that, O'Donnell in Delaware. But she has had some of these other problems. But the day after she won, her opponent, Castle, his staff came out and they just trashed her again. I guess he never called to congratulate her. Sore loser, I guess. But, so, I'm watching news the other night, and now I'm up to speed on what's going on. This woman was part of the Tea Party movement and this and that. She's just a regular person. And then I saw a Democrat come on the TV and make the case why this woman's unelectable. And you know what this person said? This Democrat said about O'Donnell? She's against masturbation. I went, what? And she repeated it. She's against masturbation. And I thought to myself, unemployment's at 10%. Record foreclosures. The trade deficit is spiraling out of control. 50 million people don't have health insurance. And people are going to go to the polls in November, and they're going to go, I can't be for this person. She's against masturbation. Come on. Really? That's what you got? And I'm thinking, when the original Mayor Daley was alive and they used to slate candidates, and when they called in Frank Annunzio and they wanted to run him for Congress, did they say, Mr. Annunzio, we need to know, how do you feel about masturbation? Oh, we can't slate you. You can't be a candidate. Is that what it's come to? Is that what it's come to? It's the arrogance. It's the arrogance of the politicians from both sides. They get in there in Washington. They think they know what's better for everybody, and then they don't want to leave. And when you vote them out, they still don't want to leave. Lisa Murkowski in Alaska is going to have a write-in candidacy now to keep her Senate seat. She doesn't want to leave. Didn't they offer her something nice, a good lobbyist position or something? Well, you know what? I have to leave this hour, and we have another hour to come. If you're on the phone line, stay there. We'll get to you. 591-8900. Awake with Jake and WLS.
You're listening to Jake Hartford, 890 AM WLS.